Okay, it's Christina here, and I am back, and I'm delighted because when I do these, all sorts of people show up, and some of them I know previously. So, Holly Mae, welcome.
Thank you.
Beautiful to see you. Yeah,
Likewise.
we've had a nice, good, quick huddle and chuckle here. So now we're just flicking on the recording, and we're just going to see what emerges. So that's your cue to rattle however you want to rattle. And I've got my tablet here to pull over when it's time to pull it over, and I'll screen share. And I can work from just spontaneous blank paper, digital paper here. And as you know, I have a whole collection of templates that for different processes, and you've worked with and been exposed to some of them. So you may see some of your old friends emerge, or it might be something else that happens here. That's the fun of it. It's completely spontaneous. So co-created.
Cool.
So
I'm
what's up?
excited.
You signed up.
All
You
right.
came into my little
I'm here.
room here. Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So I took some notes. So I'm just going to look
Okay.
down
Yep.
at what I wrote. Um, so I took your course a while back about practical energy work.
Yep.
And I also took your business essentials.
Ah, right. Business essentials. Yep.
And the reason I found out about you in the first place was from your free shifted materials, like the magnetism map and these types of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm familiar with the process that you facilitated. I've used it billions of times, so thank you.
Yeah.
And I think basically what I'm coming with is like some mega trouble at the border around just sort of like there's a massive gap between what I want. But so if we think about the conceive, believe, achieve cycle, conceiving is really not a problem for me right now. I mean, I want all kinds of things. I can dream. I can get into the dreaming, and however, in the believing department, like updating my beliefs to sort of more resonate with what I'm after has been challenging. And I think specifically in the context of planetary awakening and ascension, I think it just is a complicating factor because as a part of my awakening process, as I go through the dark night of the soul and dismantling the ego and uncovering yet new layers to the negative alien agenda and facing different portions and pieces of what has enslaved myself and others, I'm working through a lot of trauma stuff that is both my own reaction,
Individual and collective.
individual and collective.
Yep.
Yeah, so individual and parallels, being like scraping something open.
Exactly.
And being like,
Yeah.
oh, it might be mine,
Multi-dimensional too, right? Different aspects of yourself. Some would call it past lives, multi-dimensional aspects. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember an orphan rescue with you, with multi-dimensional orphan rescue. Yeah, that was beautiful work.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So that has continued.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. And
me too. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of little guys who need to be kind of like rescued out of the little place that they're stuck in. Yep. And I like doing that. I don't really mind it per se, but it does mean that I'm like resonating a lot of negative emotions and pain and different, whatever, shock, trauma, betrayal, devastation, grief, like Holocaust timeline types of feelings. How can you live in a world like that? That devastation of like, oh my God, Um, and I respect that. I understand that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be doing that. But here's my big old but, is like there's also this part of me in 3D reality that's like trying to make a living and trying to at least be like a semi-normal person,
Yep.
which is harder and harder. Um, and that part wants to have, you know, like a business or a service that I provide to the world, whether it's, you know, doing sessions or, you know, holding spaces, doing stuff for artists, or starting a retreat where artists can come and heal and, you know, use the expressive arts, but in a ascension context. You know, I have my visions, my thoughts
Mm-hmm.
of where I might
It's consistent vision.
be
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah.
Do
When
you
we've,
remember
yeah,
it? Yeah,
totally. Yeah, I do.
it's the
So
same.
it's still there. Yep.
Still there.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
consistent. Yep.
it's consistent. It's still there. And I, yeah, I'm
Okay,
just
I'm going to
kind of
stop
hung
you.
up.
I'm going to
Go
stop you.
ahead.
I'm going to flash my screen because I know what we're going to
All
do.
right.
So that's why I'm like, okay. Um, um, so since we last worked together, what's really emerged a lot with me is non-dual work.
Hmm.
And I'm hearing polarities in here, right? We're just pinging back and forth. So,
Yes.
that's one way we could do is polarity squares. Are you aware of Leslie Temple Thurston's work?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, given, you know, I know we have some similar connector points, Lisa Renee being one of them. I don't know if you ever encountered Lucia Renee. Um, yeah, so and through Lucia, I found Leslie Temple Thurston's work, and the book. I'm just going to write it down. I just screen shared, and I'll come back to this, but I'm just going to write this reference down here too in terms of a book. Marriage of Spirit.
Mm.
And Leslie, she's South African, Leslie Temple Thurston, and some really magnificent work in here. One of the things I posted up on the support page, I've been doing free process groups, right, for people to
Mm-hmm.
drop in every couple of weeks, and there's a bunch of visual tools, like you mentioned, the magnetism map. One of the more recent ones is, and Leslie has graciously in her book, right, is okay with people using her processes. So I, of course, created a visual template around it. And so this whole duality, that could be one way we work here, but I'm also feeling self-inquiry, Advaita kind of stuff, because you will naturally balance these as we go along. And I can already feel, I'll come back and talk to some of this record that I've quickly captured as you were talking, but the orphan work, whether it's this life or however you want to reference the other ones, right? Past lives, parallel lives, multiples, multi-D, right? Take your label of choice. With the trauma and enslavement, that's all small, right? It's all aspects of ourselves that are very small and vulnerable and downtrodden, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like, yeah, we get that one.
Mm-hmm.
Know that one inside and out, and that can only get us so far. And there's healing work which you have done a lot of, and some of it we've done together. That's all valid. However, the other side of that polarity is strength, right? Is bigness,
Mm-hmm.
and that's often what's happening to get the other side of the polarity in place, right? If one's been a little lopsided, and these are journeys happen in stages, right? So it's quite usual to encounter the orphan and the smaller and the disempowered,
Mm-hmm.
and there might be, you know, soul mission purpose of, it's got to be, right, why you're doing that from a bigger perspective, why you're investigating that. But kind of sounds like it's also time, and I think it is time, talking about planetary awakening and ascension, right? It's time for the to stand up, right, and find a way of doing it, not the
Mm-hmm.
typical power stuff, not toxic power, right? But despite all those traumatic things,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, it's like, okay, we're here again, and let's stand up into our full power, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
full perspective. And that flip on it is just like, whoa, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Right? It makes those things pale in comparison. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever is going on, right? Whether it's reptilian mind within or reptilian literally outside, um, uh, I have my beliefs about that and my experiences, but whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's the same alchemy that needs to happen inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, we may find our way back here to some polarity squares, or it may just be for you and others listening. It's another opportunity for me to reference Leslie's book, because it's fantastic for working with polarity. It's also very good for people who are more intellectual. I'm not saying you are uh, um, more left brain.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean that as a dig that you, oh no,
That's
you're not
okay.
intellectual, but I just meant it's a good entry point for people who are mind oriented,
Yeah.
and that they can actually get feeling and polarity work done through
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
intellectual kind of approach,
Mm-hmm.
a mind approach. So, but that's not my first choice. What my first choice is after that ramble I just did, which is part of things, is let's go and meet all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And when we meet it, it'll naturally unfold to something else. And I'm working with, call it what you will, stillness, consciousness, right? Through the form of you, we tap into the all that is, right? So it's an honor every time I get to work with someone, because I'm through the form of you working with consciousness, which is informing all of us and informing me, and hopefully, helping consciousness get out of these knots that it gets itself into. It forgets its consciousness. It forgets it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and it
Mm-hmm.
can do everything and anything, and it is everything and everything. So it starts to buy into the smallness. And so sometimes I have to go, psst, you forgot your consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a virtual reality. Psst,
Mm-hmm.
wake up, rise up, liberate. Yeah. Ooh, I just got goosey bumps. Okay, so we start with what shows up. So up at the top, massive gap with the conceive, believe, achieve. And different people put those in different orders sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's planetary awakening and ascension. Again, use whatever terms one is comfortable with. Good terms, I can relate to these terms. And yes, there's bad guys, so NAA, internal or external, to be
Mm-hmm.
determined. Definitely dark night of the soul stuff occurs. And at various levels, whether within or without, I think this is what so much is rising to the surface about literal enslavement going on in the world, right? Um, and that needs to come out. So maybe this is where we start. We're meeting enslavement and trauma, and we're meeting shock and grief and devastation. And we're also meeting, hey, I'm a 3D person here, and I have to operate in the matrix. And I kind of like to make a living and be kind of semi-normal. Yes, please. Me too. Yeah, yeah. So we'll just take them as I rattle them off. I'm going to just take them in the order because it's a parfait glass, and how the layers come out are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So let's meet planetary awakening. When I say these things and meet, you've probably done different kinds of inquiry. So I'm just kind of lobbing them over to you, and you'll be applying them inside of you or around you, right? And then you'll just see, and you're the translator. You're going to report back to me what's going on in your system, right? What do you notice? So the first thing, let's just say hello to planetary awakening and ascension. And probably a good, authentic yes. Yes, please. Uh-huh, signed up, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So just a yes, please to that. Good idea. We like it. And there's some bumps in there too, right? Any sort of awakening process, ascension process, often light and dark, yin and yang, right?
Mm-hmm.
Contrast, rocket of desire. So So to the parts of it that you like and that it's a hell yes, you're saying yes, please. And
Mhm.
then to the aversion parts, you're just agreeing and saying you're right. We don't like that side of it. We don't. We don't like. It's hard personally. It's hard collectively.
Mhm.
There's a lot of duking it out going on. There's a lot of wrestling, light and dark. It's hard.
Mhm.
So just agreeing with the parts that don't like it. There's a no thank you. And it's just simple, just agreeing. You're right. You're right. This sucks. You're right. You're right. This is amazing. Yes, and. I'm just going to keep this rattling, even though some stuff might be happening,
Mhm.
given as we're meeting it. So I'm going to go to the next layer, which is enslavement and trauma. What an honor to be able to meet enslavement and trauma. Most people cannot meet it. We'll do all sorts of things to avoid it. So thank you for bringing enslavement and trauma to satsang through the form of you, Holly Mae. It's an honor. I have to do a lot of this stuff myself, so it's nice to have someone else doing it
Mhm.
and for me to be able to work this way with it. So hello, enslavement and trauma. My non-dual teacher says, if you look at the word trauma, look how his right in the middle of it. It's a clue.
Mhm.
Being one of the ways we reference Om, which is the all that is. Again, it's kind of like what we did before. There's a yes, please, and there's a no, thank you. And so both of us, I see it as this big monolith, but you might have something else going over in your system, but it's like we're walking up and we're standing in front of enslavement and trauma. And it's okay if there's bits in us that are quaking and there's bits of us that are raising our fist up to it. And we're just going to muscle as best we can some respect, because this is a big one from humanity and probably beyond humanity.
Mhm.
This energy of enslavement and trauma. You know what? I think I forgot to turn my recording on.
Really?
That's hilarious. I'm just going to check.
That's recording. Or did you just
Oh,
like?
oh, it's recording. Good. Yeah. Because I was like, this is so good. Right. This is so amazing. And I'm like, oh no, did I? Yeah. Okay. It's going
Oh, we
because
got it. We got it.
we got it.
All being
It's good. We are
recorded.
going to have it so other people can
Many layers.
meeting enslavement and trauma.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So again, we're in front of it, and because it's so massive, it deserves some respect. It's ancient. It's huge, and
Hmm.
not most people are going to be able to give it respect and honoring in a way. Doesn't mean that we allow it to run roughshod.
Hmm.
No, this is firm boundaries and enough, right? But it's powerful, and it's deep, and it's ancient, and it's mysterious because sometimes it's catalytic and in the bigger picture it's doing something.
Mhm.
So just see as you meet enslavement and trauma and do your best to just be in front of it, holding your ground and offering respect. Just see what happens.
Do you want me to share?
Yeah,
Okay. Wasn't
yeah,
sure.
yeah. This you'll clue me into what's happening, and
Hmm.
you're guiding me.
Okay. Um, so I have this image of like an elephant, like a circus elephant that is like in chains.
Yes.
and has like some, you know, it's hurt, it's, anyway, it's traumatized, and just but it's big. And I just had this image right from the beginning of like putting my hand on its flank and just being like, you know, just trying to comfort it a little bit of like, yeah, you know. So it's like, it's bigger than me. It's huge. Um, but it also feels like this kind of calm, like, okay, now's the time we're gonna
Ah, yes,
get you out of
please.
those chains, and
Yes.
you know. But yeah, it's a wounded beast.
Yes.
Animal.
Yes. 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 So just agreeing with that and just seeing how it responds as you say those words to it. We're going to get you out of this. And I recognize your big wounded beast. I'm going to assume it wants out of it too. See how it responds. Maybe not. You'll see what happens. Sometimes chain things do interesting things,
Yeah.
like are afraid to be unchained.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like kind of, you know, making its like trumpeting noise and flapping its ears like yes, please come get me.
Ah, ah, yes,
Definitely wants out and
yes.
wants help.
Okay.
I'm also aware this is a little bit of a cognitive piece, but it seems
Mhm.
important. Is like, you know, we were talking about maybe recording, or the association I made with that was memory, and just remembering like elephants grieve and they remember
Mm,
where burial sites are, you know, and that elephants never forget, kind of. So it feels
yes,
like memory
yes,
partly.
yes, yes, yes to that. That's another layer. Yeah. Yeah, because this, you know, personally, there's all those memories, and then collectively, wow, the massiveness of that, the memories. Yes. And it makes sense that enslavement and trauma would be an elephant that never forgets.
Mm.
So just bowing to that grieving and that memory banks, and never forgetting, and we'll see with it. It may make sense that it does not forget. It would be important to not forget.
Mm. Great. Yeah,
Just
respecting
agreeing.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like not wanting to sweep it under or not wanting to dissociate, right? So
Yeah.
it's important to remember. Just agree with that. How wise. Thank you. It's consciousness is giving you this. So yes to grieving, and yes to remembering, yes to memory. Good idea. And then just see what happens. You're doing great. It's good. It's unfolding.
Yeah, having those, just commenting on I'm having those process things like some shivering, some
Yeah.
like jerking, shaking, which those who take the practical energy work course.
Normal, normal. So we'll just
Normal,
we'll
normal.
just we'll just say if there's any self-consciousness as people are watching, same thing. I mean, I have
Yeah.
active Kundalini and it will unfold. This is a good sign. This is good news because it means that the something's unraveling here, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of energy, and of course there's going to be when you're meeting enslavement and trauma. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the body responding and shivering. It's like the trauma response so often is those movements and those TRE kind of movements, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
just agreeing with it and just
Yeah.
appreciating the body. Thank you, body. You know how to process it, and
Yeah.
something that's been frozen is now processing.
Yeah.
And we don't even have to intellectually, cognitively know that the body can do the processes thing, even if the mind and the intellect doesn't know what the heck was that bit that just moved through.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, so in this vein of like respecting elephants, I'm having this image of how they remember spots on the earth. They
Mm.
remember, they make these, if I'm remembering it right, they make these kind of pilgrimages, or they have these cycles of movement around. I think this is coming back to the, I don't know if this is factual, but that doesn't really matter. But I have this idea that they have these burial sites, or they,
Oh, I think that's true. Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
return, right, to
Yep.
spots. So I'm just getting this vision of them, like maybe it's ley lines or energy pathways of just them kind of like moving around, like these, they're like this, these beings who remember.
Just agree, because
Yeah.
consciousness is giving you information and it has to go from the right brain over to the left, and the left, it's always a translation problem. So just thank the intellect and mind. Good job. Good job. You're,
Fact
because
check.
it's, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You got
Okay.
that fact checker. That's true too. Yeah, but it's also
Okay.
translating.
Yes,
It's
yes.
coming up with you know, as this block of information is coming and the mind is going, let me compute
Mhm.
this. It's computing quite well. So let's agree with it. And it's
Yeah.
getting across that consciousness is saying, hey, there's not only memory here, there's grieving, there's burial sites, there's a
Mhm.
pilgrimage, there's movement, and this is connected to ley lines. So just like, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, to all that information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very wise.
Yeah. So now I'm seeing this like thank you for the
Mm-hmm.
encouragement. I'm seeing this sort of tribe of elephants, and they're standing at a certain spot, and they're playing music like a horn, like a French horn, like a brass. They're playing songs with their trunks, like a
Cool.
brass, like just this very soft harmonies. Um, it's like the song of this space, or the song of what happened here, or memory, tribute, memory keeping, like
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and yes, sing songs and the memory happening. Just yes, please to that. Good idea. And the chain down those generations.
Mhm. Yeah, so there's some kind of connection with like water and wells, and like that the song is helping water be back in that spot, or like this is an ancient well actually, or ancient natural
Mm.
place of water, and the elephants know this, and that's why they're there, and they're kind of like, as they're singing, they're or playing the trumpet, singing, they're yeah, just like creating these resonances that are like yeah, it's a bit like a chalice configuration, or a grail point, like an intersection.
Beautiful.
So water can be there, and there's this little young elephant who's like um, got a lot of hair on his head.
Oh, yeah.
One of those guys, and he's like wants to be in the water splashing, like he's a little more joyful, kind of
Hmm.
like, so maybe next gen.
Yes. Yes, please. Next generation joyful. Yeah, so this progression that happens as those earlier generations are taking care of that enslavement and trauma and breaking free of the chains, and this little one can be more joyful.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Whew. See what happens when we meet enslavement and trauma? Boy.
Yeah.
So just seeing anything wants to happen from here. There's another thing that we didn't meet originally under was your 3D and the making a living, being semi-normal business, all that kind of stuff. I'm aware of that. I don't necessarily need to go right there if there's more unfolding with the elephants, but just see what happens. Your consciousness will guide, because there's multiple things that you're wrestling with. First there was enslavement and trauma, and then there's the, oh, by the way, 3D.
Yeah.
So see where
Yeah.
where you go.
I just got this, like the little baby elephant like has like a trumpet full of this, that's not the word, trunk, a trumpet full, you know what I mean? The
Yeah,
trunk
yeah, yeah.
full of this water just comes over and like blasts it in my face,
Hmm.
like kind of, then there's this part that's all just kind of like has to laugh a little bit because she's just been blasted in like a
She's
little bit
playing
like,
with
don't be
you.
so serious, don't be so,
Yeah, exactly.
it's not
She's like,
that big a deal. Or something
loosen
like
up
that,
or
like
something, she's
yeah,
saying.
something
Yeah,
like like have some fun, it's okay,
yeah.
play,
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
and maybe even play with me, play
Mm-hmm.
once. Yeah, okay, so then it's sort of like me, my ordinary me is going over to the water spot too, and just being
Mm,
like, all right, like listening to the music, which is really
yeah,
really beautiful.
yeah.
um, Horn, like I guess like I don't know what the right word for it is, but just horn. Like it's not really harsh and brassy. It's like really soft and like these sounds that are okay. I know what it is.
Mm,
It's like I was getting an image of like sunrise, sunrise sound. So to me, what that means is like aurora, like kind of
ooh.
like soft.
So just say yes, please. Sunrise
Yes, please.
sounds, aurora, soft. Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just kind of sitting at the corner. I mean, sitting at the edge of this water spot, and the little elephant is just kind of irrigating my right hand, my right palm with water from um, spring or the water spot.
Mm, beautiful. So just having fun and being sprayed and playing, and just aware of the energetic, right? Aware of what's happening here. Even while history's present, right? The older generations and what they went through are present. But this younger one and this next gen and the joyfulness and your interaction with that.
Yeah.
And just bowing and thanking. Thank you for your love.
Yeah, I'm getting this sort of in this image, this recognition piece that, like, like I think those older elephant elders are kind of like, putting a comforting trunk, kind of like on my shoulder, sort of like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're one of us, kid. Like, you've
Mm-hmm.
been through it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm more in this sort of tired war horse
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
Um, like I appreciate the little baby elephant, but I'm kind of like
But they're
weary.
acknowledging. They're
They're
acknowledge
acknowledging. Yeah,
those older ones are acknowledging and saying, "Yep, you're with us. You've been up
yeah,
that generation." Yeah.
yeah,
And it is with Starseed Wanderer types, right? Those of us that go before, the ones who are coming on, although it's a heck of a challenge for them to come down
yes,
into this plane, but they also have different energy and are a lot of them more joyful. They're different from us, kind of Gen Xer, and then the boomers in front of us, right? The ones who are
yeah,
of service. So we
yeah,
each, through our incarnation times, right, we come in with, it was denser energy and there was more stuff that we were dealing with,
yeah,
and we paved the way and
yeah,
wanted to, right, so that that next gen can be more joyful, and those ones who can hold higher energy here because we
yeah,
came down and did what we did.
yeah,
Yeah, so just agreeing, you're right, you're right. And also just feeling the comfort and feeling the camaraderie and the recognition and the acknowledgement,
yeah,
and probably some thank yous in there
yeah.
for the role, for the work.
Yeah. I think just maybe an image that feels like a potential place of pause or rest of this particular piece is just like seeing this like sort of old warhorse me that's sitting there just kind of like falling back in exhaustion in the
Ah, so say rest, rest.
rest. Yeah,
It's
she just
over.
needs to
Rest,
rest.
rest. Time to rest.
Time to
Thank
rest.
you for your hard work.
Yeah. And
Now's
like
the
all the,
time.
yeah, exactly. Like the elephants are there. They're kind of giving me some sort of like mud treatment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice. Mud treatment. Yes, please. Good idea. A little spa time would be nice.
Spa. Yeah, and it's warm, It's like warm, warm mud, warm sun, just kind of like feels good. Just being dirty, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And just put it down. Put it down. Rest, rest.
Yeah.
Come join. You're welcome. You're part of the pack, part of the tribe. I don't know what a group of elephants, what are they? A herd, I guess. Yeah, in a good way, the herd. This kind of herd.
Yeah.
We're just gonna, I'm drawn to the little one, and there's an aspect of you that's got that next gen too, and the joyful or not, right? Maybe this is our role, but that little one is going to grow up.
Mm.
So whether it's observing it or feeling it, if it's happening within or without, let's just invite consciousness through the form of that little elephant to rise up. Rise up, joy. Get
Mm-hmm.
big, get massive. This little one's going to grow up into a huge, massive elephant of that nature. Yes, please, as will all the other
Yes,
little ones.
please.
Yes, please. Here's the rising. And just it's consciousness. So consciousness, go for it. Rise up, root down, expand out. Just feeling that largeness happening. It's taking up more and more space. Came out of the trauma, but it's growing big in its joy, in the sun, in the warmth. And it can protect, right? It can take care of business. Or herd elephants take care of each other, so they can take care of business if need be. But the joy, that takes care of business in its own way through the energetic route. Yes, please. Counter to the violence, counter to the poaching, counter to all of that. Embodiment of the joy. Largesse of the joy. And the play and the having fun. Taking up more space, more room, growing up. Yes, please. And it's the naturalness, natural passage of time, growing phase, natural maturation process. Wow, nature might have known what it was doing.
I just got this really great image of like the the elephant just becoming like really, really, really gigantic.
Exactly. Good.
Just super huge. And
Yep.
then these little poachers come and they're like so tiny little things. And the
Yep.
elephant doesn't even know what they are. The elephant's just like, hi. But the poachers are like, uh-oh, we can't. No chance.
Yeah, so to that kind of, some of those poachers or the overlay of
Yeah.
NAA, right, which seems so
No.
small,
They're
big
so
before.
small.
Now you guys are like little pesky ants or something.
Yeah.
What the heck are you? Anyway, from all this joy, it's like, what the heck is that? Poaching?
Yeah.
You think you can take me out?
Yeah. And I just love a generation that doesn't. I love the idea of a generation that doesn't even
Yeah,
compute.
right, right, right. Yes, please to that.
Yes,
Yes,
please. Like
please.
just done.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, these elephants are really funny. They're just like galloping around. I don't know, just doing funny stuff on the planet,
Yes.
like singing and playing flowers and playing. They're just funny creatures.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Good
Very
idea.
cute.
Yes, yes, singing and planting and running around and totally nonplussed by these
Mm-hmm.
poachers and this
Yeah.
kill stuff and this violent stuff. Doesn't compute.
Mm.
Minuscule in comparison
Yeah.
to this hugeness.
Oh, Christina, I just got this image of several of them like waving at you
Aw,
with their trunks. They're kind of like,
thank you.
thank
Oh.
you. Hi. Hi there.
Hello, Ganesh. Thank you. Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Just feeling, I could feel the ancientness, right,
Forgot
of the
about
symbol.
Ganesh.
Yeah, that's just what
Yeah.
flashed for me. Hello, Ganesh. Hello,
Yeah.
hello. No coincidence. That comes in the form of elephants. Very wise,
Mm.
very beautiful, very playful. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to hold space, and thank you for the wave. I love that. Thank you. I need to know from consciousness the waves. We see you, we recognize it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. And to me too, yes, you're right. More play, more fun. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, my mind intellect picks up. So in a way, I'm not sure if you can see this, but the first stuff is this, right? So we met the first, what you first showed up with, and we followed that through. And let's get hugeness in here, just really. That power, that huge, and the minuscule of the poaching and all that business. I'm gonna just see, because there might, you could keep going. This isn't enough in and of itself, right? To just, that's the consciousness edge, to just grok in this, right? Like that knowing of the next gen who's playful, who grows up, becomes huge, and the poaching becomes minuscule, right? Everything that poaching represents, that violence, that complete disconnect and separation from heart, right? And also desperation in there too, right? And in a screwed up system, that's the only thing that can be left for some people to do, is to try to kill magnificence. But as magnificence, you know, gets so big there, that's no longer an option, or the impact is so small, it really reduces. Now we're going to go over, since you're connecting with consciousness, and it'll show us, but I'm just aware of this. Again, I'm going to come poke on the 3D. So in the midst of the things that were arising, down at the bottom there was the, I have to make a living, I have to be semi-normal. It would be nice to be semi-normal. And it would be nice to have a business and service and do what you've been wanting to do, your vision, you know, sessions and artistic stuff and healing and everything woven in there. So just meet that, just like you met enslavement and trauma. Just come back and maybe bring the elephants with you and all that learning and point of view and stature. And now come stand in front of this dilemma of being a big old elephant now. You know, old elephant trauma, but also the new one. And just say hello to 3D and being in the matrix. And it's such a dilemma, right? We can be these big, magnificent, multidimensional beings, but we came into form, and it truncates us down into the system and the matrix and stuff of what exists currently at this time and place. So just stand in front of it, just like you did enslavement and trauma, and just say hello, because it's here. So hello, don't like you very much. You've caused me a lot of grief during this couple decades here. But I'm just going to take a moment to stand in front of you and acknowledge you. Hello, system. And hello, longing. Longing to actualize, longing to be of service, longing to create that business that fulfills and sustains and allows you to help and assist and be with wonderful people, and that energy, beautiful longing and vision. It's all welcome. The yin and the yang of it. Just see what happens as you meet it.
So what I'm getting is like, first, I was kind of like standing in a, almost like in a boardroom, but I was basically like out in nature in a field, but there are like three whiteboards creating this box, kind of like I've got one here, and one here, and I'm kind of like presenting my plan to the elephants, and they're
Yes.
kind of watching, and their trunks are kind of swinging back and forth, and I can just tell that they're like, what? They're just sort of like don't really get it. And then I saw that they're like kind of like basically their suggestion would be just sort of knock this stuff over,
Mm.
move it out of the way, and let's just like run and play in the field and like what. And then there was this other part that was like, no, like I need to show you.
Mm.
So then I just saw this like this little encampment, you know, almost like a someone who's without shelter right now, like someone who's temporarily camped in a place and like might have like a tarp and like a shopping cart and like a,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a little pile of rubble, and just being like, no, I'm here, like this is. And basically the elephants are kind of like, more or less, but like kind of being like, but yeah, but why would you want to be in there? Or, you know, how about we get you out of there?
Mm. Yes, please.
Yeah. But there's this like guy in like in like a raincoat who's sort of like, I don't know, hunkered it down in there.
So,
Yeah.
so that, so, just a, it seems like there's an entrenchment or stubbornness or clinging.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
just compassion and love
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
that aspect of self or aspect in humanity that wants to
Mm.
do that, right? Or circumstances has
Yeah.
brought that. And that
Yeah.
the only thing being known, right? Like you're saying, a little pile of rubble
Yeah.
and just some immediate
Yeah.
shelter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So just love for, again, there's smallness. So there's another opportunity here for some
Mm.
rising. So let's lean in and kind of up to that part.
Mm.
You forgot your consciousness. It's such a
Yeah.
good game. It's such a good virtual reality. You bought it hook, line, and sinker, but you've forgotten your consciousness. So just as we're saying this to it, it might be like, huh? And just the same thing. There's an opportunity here if you care to take it to rise up. Rise up, root down,
Mm.
expand, go in a million directions. As you place the invitation, it'll know. This is consciousness. It'll know if it wants to unfurl, uncontract itself, liberate itself.
Yeah. So what I got was that, yeah, definitely some sort of like when you were talking, when you were like, you forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Basically hearing it, like perking up, being like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Took notice.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that got his attention. Yeah, so now he's more like, okay. And he's like, I think this is funny to me. His hat is like a rain hat slash tinfoil hat. So I think it might be a little bit of like the part of me that's been maybe like hunkered down and,
Yep.
you know, kind of like, you know, thinking about the agendas and
Mm-hmm.
getting scared about it too.
Yep.
I think trying to prepare but not really knowing how, and you know, a
Yep.
bit that maybe a little paranoid
Mm-hmm.
consciousness. Not saying it's wrong,
Right,
but
right.
fearful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So just see, it's listening, so that's good news.
Mm-hmm.
And we've planted a seed and we're helping it remember. And
Mm-hmm.
just see as this kind of dawning realization clues in, like, oh, you mean I can be bigger than this? I can be different from this. I don't have to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll, as it rise up, like just invite it, stand up,
Mm-hmm.
burst out, just like the elephants were wanting to just like, remove it all.
Mm-hmm.
There's an invitation here. We're not going to force and do anything to it. It will do it under its own auspices. So just
Mm-hmm.
see what its desire is. What's its pleasure? What's its greatest pleasure?
there's like some, I think you just saying, hey, remember your consciousness was kind of, it was like breaking the spell for a moment, and it was helpful. It feels a little bit like, okay. And it's kind of like peeling off some things, like some stuff that can be left in the bunker.
Yes, please. Peeling, I love it. Peeling it off and leaving it in the bunker. Yes, please.
Yes. Uh, and kind of coming up like this, it's sort of, I'm seeing this like half sunk, like a bunker, I guess, sort of underground sunken space. And it's like kind of coming up to the surface and being like, all right, I'm coming with you guys.
Yay, yay, yes, please. Peel it off, drop it, leave it,
Yeah.
come on up. Yes, please, yes, please. No need to stay there.
Yeah.
Shaking off some of that fear and that paranoia, joining in to community, people who care, the elephants. Come to the surface. No need to hunker down. Yay. Up, up, up. Into the sun. Into the warmth.
Yeah.
Into the herd of the magnificent elephants and you. Onto the savannah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. Like just, wind and golden sun in the grass and like very tall grass and maybe some little flowers or sort of some springy. Very beautiful, and like a lot of space and a lot of horizon, a lot of visual peace, like nothing disturbing or
Yeah. Yes to peace. No, no thank you to the disruption. Yes to peace. And how it feels to be in there in the nervous system. Yes, please. Restful, peace, warmth.
yeah. And I think there's just this elephant lady who's sort of like very feminine, so it feels like having transformed into a different gender than the previous image.
Yep.
uh, and she's very, just like bare arms in the sun and like long hair and, you know, like with the sort of feeling the trunks of the elephants and like very natural, very earthy, very just walking along through the grass. And it feels like this, not a parade, but like um, procession, a procession of these beings like yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Like all over, I'm seeing like other tribes and kinds of animals with representatives and stuff, like just sort of radiating out over the globe, like, oh yeah, like all over the place. And there's this movement all over, this kind of like, yeah, lots of like we're one of these processions, but there's many tribes and groups and different kinds and different processions expanding out and like crisscrossing the globe and making these circuits and this kind of yeah, maybe the ley lines again, or just sort of, yeah, covering the whole.
Taking care of business all across. Yes, please. Yes, please. Good idea. rising of that divine feminine. Have more contracted masculine there, hunkered down, expands up. Talking energetics here, so not man and woman, but contracted masculine and then into that expanded feminine. Yes, please. It's global, and there's that movement and the processions and expansion, connection with the ley lines and the planet. Yes, please. Beautiful, beautiful. See if there's anything else. It's communicated so much, and we'll wrap here in just a moment, and you can connect at any time with this. It's an honor to facilitate it, but you can connect at any time, so it doesn't have to end in just this session. But since I'm here taking notes, anything else the consciousness wants to throw across with everything that you brought here, any other communications or messages? So much has been received and brought across. Personally informative, but also, you know, parallel processing, very helpful for all sorts of folks who'll watch this.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to throw over consciousness? Yeah.
Yeah, final image is just like that when these sort of expanding hubs meet, there's this, like, I just had this image of like hands. Like there's a moment when they make join hand, when they can join hands.
Keep your hands there so I can see them and draw them. I'll go fast. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's a sense of this is sort of like future, you know, I'm not saying really far off, but sort of the understanding of like something to look forward to or to be. I mean, anyway, maybe it doesn't matter in
Yes.
terms of linear time, but it feels a little bit like this is coming soon, or hang in there for this moment. This is something that's going to feel really good.
Yes, please. Yeah, just agree. Yes, please. Good idea. Good to know. Good to know. Collaboration happening. There's a meeting happening. Yes. Good to know. Thank you for the information. As it was beaming across another message here, a final message. So there's help coming. There's unity. There's collaboration. There's hands across. Yes to holding hands. Okay, so just deep bow to consciousness who has so, through the form of you, arose here to interact and connect and take things further and show the wisdom. Deep, deep bow to the savannah and the sun and the elephants and to generational process. And to the young ones having more joy because of the previous generations and their roles, and to those young ones, next generation, joyful, rising up and becoming magnificent and big and taking up so much space. Yay, yay, yay. And helping the hunkered down ones to drop off and stand up and transform and join global movement unfolding, many processions, ley lines. Yes, please. Yes, please. Holding hands, doing it together. Too much for one, but there's lots here. There's numbers. Whew. Just deep bow to consciousness unfolding and showing the way and the answers and the reassurance, because it can look a little bleak here in 2020, 21 for those with eyes to see and know, or think we'd see and know. And here's the bigger seeing and the bigger knowing. Not so small, big, big, capable, strong, intelligent, powerful, tapped into oneness. Kind of like oneness looks down, goes, you think that's a problem? Yeah. I can take care of those little poachers. And somewhere in here, just to reassure left brain and mind, you got your answers for your own individual business and your own role in here. Something going on with that hunkered down one and that woman that emerged, right? That's your answer there. That's just that. I would embody her, journal to her, talk to her. She's a guide. She's an ally. Probably your future self. Leave you with that as homework. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, thank you, Holly Mae. Beautiful work. Yeah. So reassuring, right? As I meet with people, and thank you for bringing it just straight and deep. And, you know, I'm in lots of different communities, and I'm definitely in communities and have these aspects of myself too. And how reassuring to be shown the bigger picture, because it gets scary, and I can get into, I got that hunkered down tinfoil hat guy too. Yeah. And it's like here, consciousness just showed us the bigger frame, the bigger perspective. And boy, that feels better in the body. Yeah. Yeah. And talk to her as you continue, you know, because there's more. My little coachy side would like to do more with the business stuff. But communicate with her. She's got the answers. And maybe I'll see you down the road here and I'll see how that communications goes or can help and assist with it. Yeah, but you're very capable. And you got the elephants, so. Good job.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah.
That was an enormous support and comfort, and feeling really held and contained in a positive.
Mm-hmm. It's my honor to do. Thank you. And we'll see what we title this one. How do you put a small little title on a cover, you know, for what just happened here, so that people who also need to see this need to see, you know, can clue. But we'll also just trust the process. Hello, anybody listening? We're trusting the process. You, out of all these videos that are showing up on the YouTube, you found the one that you needed to find. Needle in the haystack. Yeah. We'll trust the process, that there will be good parallel processing for people who find themselves here, who also can relate, yeah, to what you brought forth in Matt. Take good care, and maybe I will see you in person sometime again.
That would be nice.
I will look forward to it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Christina. Keep it up.
I
Take care of
will.
yourself. Take
I
heart.
will. Yeah, I will. Yeah. This is showing me. Consciousness through you shows me. It's so good for me to do this work. It shows me over and over and over again, right? And just for you to know too, it's showing over and over and over again. It's okay. There's a bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Very powerful, good forces at work. Yeah. And they can take care of the poaching.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And we're it. Oneness. Yeah.
It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. It's okay.
Finally.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. There's a process. It's okay. Yeah. Multi-generational process. Yeah. And we've done our part, are doing our part. Yeah. It's okay to have some spa time. In fact, it's a necessity.
Sounds really nice. Maybe I'll
Mud,
take a
warm
bath
mud.
later.
Yeah, yeah, warmth.
Warm.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Some
Yeah.
pampering and nurturing and acknowledgement. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty then.
Okay.
Well, zipping it up. Thank you. Take care of yourself. I wish just tons of blessings, and thank you for being here and doing this and sharing it for free.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you. Co-creation at its best,
Yeah.
as Abraham says.
Yeah.
Steal one of their lines. Yeah.